What's going on, guys? It's been a while since I've made any kind of a shop update video or shown you what I've been working on. So I wanted to do just that before I called it a night. And one of the things I did want to show you is a knife that I just completed. And I just finished the sheath up for this tonight. And this one is almost complete, all except for the sheath, the edge, and I'll probably do a little bit more sanding and polishing on this handle. But this will be done in the very near future as well. And what you're looking at here, some of you may recognize if you've been following some of my recent videos. This is my Oswego fixed blade model. Makes a great neck knife, a pocket fixed blade, or even a belt knife. And I do make all of my sheaths Tech-Lock compatible. This one happens to be compatible with a small Tech-Lock. And it will also work with other things such as Molly locks or other Molly compatible fastening systems. And just to give you one example, these are some belt loops that incorporate some Chicago screws and snaps. It would work very nicely with something like this as well. But anyway, I did a couple of things differently on this one than the first one, which I've mentioned in a couple videos, and I'm actually carrying on my person as an EDC fixed blade. And I gotta say, I've been carrying this ever since I made it. I did make one update video in the past, but I've been carrying this every day since that, and every day since I made it. And really been pleased with not only how it carries, but how well it functions as well. Up until I made this knife, I had never carried any kind of a fixed blade on my person as an EDC blade. And I've always been a folder guy, whether it's liner locks, frame locks, or even a more traditional slip joint. And the idea of carrying a fixed blade on me every day never really appealed to me until I made this knife and figured I'd go ahead and try it out. And not only was this my first fixed blade that I've carried on my person every day, but it's also the first knife that I've made for myself to carry every day. And overall, I've really been pleased and impressed with it. And I really don't miss the folding knife. I don't feel like I have any kind of a void there. Having this fixed blade instead, and that's not to say that I won't swap it out for a everyday carry folder in the future, but this has really been filling the role quite nicely and doing everything I've asked of it. So definitely wanted to make a few more and offer these for sale. This one has already spoken for potentially by a fellow member of the Usual Suspect Network. He's bought a knife off of me in the past and asked that I give him a heads up when this was finished. So that'll also be partly the reason that I'm making this video. But I did a few different things on this than I did on the first one, like I said. One being that I included some liners in between the scales and the blade tang. These are some deep red liners I think contrast very nicely with the carbon fiber handle scales here. I used a 2x2 twill carbon fiber from Black Site Carbon Fiber, fastened together with some posts and screws so that they can be removed if desired, replaced with some other scales, maybe cleaned underneath. And another thing that I did differently was that I made this one a Scandi grind. And this is actually my first Scandinavian grind. I don't actually own any Scandi ground knives, nor have I ground a Scandi grind before. And very happy with how this one came out. Not only for being my first, but I also put this through a little bit of basic use out in the backyard, making some fuss sticks, cutting down some small limbs, batoning through some small limbs and things like that. as well as kind of cross chopping through some 1-inch sticks. And overall, the edge held up very well. It's extremely sharp, cuts very nicely, and definitely something I'm going to explore a little bit more in the future. And what I actually did for this, I ground it down to a 0 bevel, about 10 degrees per side, for a 20-degree inclusive primary bevel there. And then I took it over to my paper wheel sharpener over there and put a very, very small micro bevel on the very edge. That's just a little shallower than 20 degrees. So hopefully that will strengthen that just a little bit, but still give you the function of a Scandinavian grind. And this is extremely sharp. It does pop hair very nicely, and shaves wood and everything else in between. So very happy with how that came out. See my mark there. Little piece of Kydex. Some oil on the blade. And I just wanted to point out, I did have to re-etch my mark there. You can see right there on the left leg of the A, I was using an old stencil and it kind of got away from me. So try to clean it up as much as I could. Overall, it doesn't look too bad, but I got a new stencil etched over it, and made it look a little bit nicer. Also got my AR logo on the other side there. Again with a little bit of Kydex shavings sticking to the blade. And some nice functional jimping on the back. And overall very happy with how this knife turned out, even with the botched etch there. Scales really pop, got almost a holographic appearance to them. Really picked the light up at some nice different angles there. And one of the many reasons that I like carbon fiber, it's not only very light, very durable, but it really catches that light. Pop this back into the sheath, get a nice secure sheath there. And I'll leave to the buyer's option whether they want to use it as a neck knife, belt knife, or a pocket fixed blade, like mine here on a clipped lanyard. So that's that. I also got one with not quite a full flat grind. It's about a 3/4 grind. 3/4 flat grind there. I just need to make the sheath, sharpen the edge, maybe polish that handle up a little bit more. And this one I have some Hunter orange liners. Got to clean that spine up more too. And then over here, not yet beveled, but I have heat treated them. I got quite a bit more cleanup to do on these, but I got some more here that'll hopefully soon be finished. Black G10 toxic green liners on these two. And this is an OD green micarta with some toxic green as well. And I'll probably do 1 or 2 of these as a Scandinavian grind. The other 1 or 2 depending as a 3/4 grind. So I definitely look forward to those. I will be offering those up for sale probably first on the Usual Suspect Network, as well as my YouTube. I usually give you guys first crack at those. But this one is currently spoken for, as I believe I mentioned. And if it does fall through, it will be listed on the Usual Suspect Network in the Customs for Sale by Maker forum. So we'll see how that goes. And that's that. Thanks for watching, guys.